Welcome to Good Morning Keys on Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5.
Good morning, Keys. Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5. The talk of the Keys, 31st of March already. Happy Easter week to you. Could get a chance of rain here later today. We'll get your complete forecast in just a little bit. Also check your traffic as well. But we're going to get right to City Council member Robin Still. She is a member of course, the City Council of the City of Marathon. Good morning to you. How are you, Robin?
Good morning. I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing okay. And a former mayor, of course, of the City of Marathon as well. So we've talked a few times, and we'll just mention this anyway. We are in search of a new city manager. So I wanted to talk about that, see if we have any criteria as to who or what we might be looking for next. That did happen fairly suddenly as it was added to the agenda at a city council meeting. Was it a month ago or thereabouts? And to date, we still really don't have full disclosure as far as the actual justification as to how or why that happened. I suppose we have to move on, but those continue to be unanswered questions.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. Basically, the motion was made last city council meeting to add a performance review to our agenda of that evening of the current city manager, George Garrett. That went pretty quick from a performance review into immediately a motion for termination. I tried to talk council members into postponing the discussion. Obviously, we needed to have a discussion because there were some feelings about termination. I just kind of thought the public needed to be present or be noticed about it in case they wanted to make comments for or against that kind of decision. But however, that didn't go the way I wanted it to. A motion was made for termination, and there were 3 votes to terminate. The council members who voted and who made the motion were well within the rights of George's contract to do that. He could be terminated without cause or with cause, and the vote was to terminate him. Regardless of my personal feelings for or against that, we have to support that vote because that was the vote of the council. And now we need to move on and we need to begin a search for the next city manager. Right now, our city attorney, who is more than capable, is our interim city manager, which really loads his plate. He was already very busy. He's got us well taken care of right now, but this is definitely a short-term solution. So there have been a lot of questions about what happens next and how do we start this search for a city manager. What I've been told by the city attorney is city staff is working on writing a more modernized job description for the city manager. I think that's important. I think it's important to consult with city staff. They deal with the city manager on a day-to-day basis. They see the public's interactions also a lot more than council members sometimes. So they kind of know in this day and age what we need for a city manager, what qualifications, things like that. And it's my understanding that our interim city manager is going to present some of that to us at our next council meeting, which is coming up in a couple of weeks. And then we'll have a discussion about what we like about that job description, what we don't like about it, maybe add if there's more qualifications that council's interested in, add that to it if it's not already added. I've already been thinking about what I'd like to see in our next city manager. There are big shoes to fill, but we have to move forward. So I know there was a lot of people upset about the decision, but I'd just like to urge everybody to let's come together. Let's put that behind us because that is behind us now. And we need to move forward regardless of how we feel about the vote one way or another. The most important thing is Marathon. So I urge people to come to that city council meeting and to follow the city's Facebook page. Also, we have a newsletter that you can sign up for to get news. It'll tell about what's happening in the city. It also lists the agenda of the upcoming meetings once those agendas are published. And I just urge the public to come to these meetings, especially if we're going to be talking about our next city manager, because whoever that person is directly impacts every single one of us.
Well, it would be interesting to see if there's actually a discussion as to Some kind of structure for performance reviews moving forward as well. I do see that at that city council meeting, it was actually in February, you did make a motion. It was seconded by Councilman Landry to postpone the performance review that was added as an agenda item, and that was voted down, thereby allowing that to move forward and that termination to move forward. But it would be nice if there was some kind of standardized procedure for performance review, especially for critical positions such as city manager.
Absolutely. And that's on that we have to, as council, kind of own some of that. We've not ever really done a in public performance review of our city manager or city attorney. And maybe going forward, we need to look at that for an annual review and have it at a council meeting so we can set expectations, say what they're doing well, what we'd like to see improvements if there is any. That way, whoever that person is knows where they stand. They know what the expectations are. That's a decision that would have to be made amongst council, obviously. But I think we probably do need to have a more robust performance review in the future.
Robin Still, former mayor of the city of Marathon, council member of City of Marathon as well on Good Morning Keys. So we had a special call meeting on the 24th as well. And the purpose of that, it looks like there was a resolution for a purchase and a few other things. Was there anything that came out of that was consequential?
No, the purchase of a truck, we needed a truck with a crane. We have, for our public works department, that was pretty necessary pieces of equipment.
Okay.
And then we had a presentation about Safer Streets, that initiative that we're working on. There was a lot of discussion about bikes and e-bikes and lighting some of our walkways. Aviation was one of them they were talking about. So we should see a plan moving forward. I think that's going to be at our next council meeting. I haven't seen the agenda, but it's my understanding that there will be a list of priorities for Safer Streets. And I know that there was a big discussion about bikes and the e-bikes during the workshop.
Okay. Well, and again, there will be continuing discussion about the hiring of a new city manager. Do we have a time frame as far as when we might expect that would be resolved?
No, there's not a time frame right now. Obviously, the sooner we could do that, the better. But we want to be able to make a good decision on who that person is. We don't want to hire somebody and then realize that that's not going to be a good fit. So while the first reaction is we need to find somebody right now, we need to find the right somebody. That's going to be the most important thing. And that might take some time. Thankfully, Steve Williams, our city attorney, who's wearing double hats right now, is extremely capable. So we are in good hands. We have great city staff. So the city of Marathon is fine right now, but we do need to find somebody.
Yeah, although there's some big projects that are going forward that the former city manager had, intimate knowledge of the inner workings thereof, deep injection wells and some of those issues. I assume that the city attorney, now acting city manager, also has working knowledge of those, but it had been said that George had been on the job for a considerable number of years and did have knowledge of ongoing projects that may be hard to replace for a while.
That's exactly right. There's a steep learning curve, even for a council member. I can only imagine for a city manager. And George had vast knowledge of all of these projects that are going forward. And George cares about our community. And I have a feeling that if we had a question, he would answer it.
Yeah. He's a great human being, in my opinion, anyway. He had his flaws, and some people definitely dwelt upon those. But again, I do thank him for his many years of service to the city. But as you said, it is now time to move on. I've heard it said that the city attorney does not want that job permanently as city manager. So the search will commence and continue until we find the right person.
Absolutely. He was quite clear on that this was not a permanent position.
Not on his bingo card, yeah.
No, not at all. And we're just fortunate that he was here and he was willing to do it. And, that we have great supportive staff. Yeah. So that is our bonus here in Marathon, is we have a great city staff.
Well, that we do. And we have the next city council meeting coming up on the 14th. No agenda available for that yet. Earth Day will be celebrated, as always, by the city of Marathon. Easter coming up this weekend. Lots of celebrations for Easter Sunday and the weekend as well. But other than that, the Easter Fun Fest. Okay, there it is. Sombrero Beach. Details on that 4 to 7 p.m. Spot the golden egg. Something special awaits.
That was the other day. That's already happened.
The
That was
26th.
wonderful.
Yep. You know what? I read
Yes.
all the details before I read the date. How sorry
It
about
was
that.
that was a great event. I
Yeah.
was there. That was wonderful.
Yeah, great. Easter Fun Fest.
Rotary has an Easter egg hunt this weekend.
Okay, good. Well, thank you. I knew you'd keep me straight. Sorry to keep all these dates a little discombobulated. So
There are a lot of dates.
Rotary this weekend, is that at this community park, or where might that be?
Rotary Children's Park.
Okay, very good. Well, we'll look forward to that. Is that Easter Sunday? I don't see the details on that.
Saturday. It's on Saturday.
Okay, great. Well, we'll look
And you
forward-
missed the neon. You missed the neon nights, the lights, the skate
Huh?
event at Oceanfront Park this past weekend. Also,
No kidding. I did miss
Yes.
that. I apologize. We were elsewhere, but so tell me about that.
our community events committee with the city is doing so many wonderful events that are free to our community. This past weekend, it benefited Presence in Paradise. That was Saturday night. And they transformed the Tiki Hut and Oceanfront Park into a skating rink.
Oh, really?
And
Okay.
you did have to rent your skates.
Okay.
However, that was an awesome event. And if anybody wants to see the amazing skills of our interim city manager and city attorney, there is video of him skating.
Okay.
No injuries. Our wonderful fire department was on scene just in case, but it seemed like everybody had a wonderful time. I was there early. I had another appointment and wasn't able to be there after dark, but I did see some videos of how awesome it was. I've heard a rumor that may be coming back in case you missed it.
All right.
But pay attention to our Facebook page because our community events committee is doing so many, and I probably have their name wrong. They're doing so many fun outreaches, the food truck jamboree, all of this stuff. So
Excellent.
stay tuned.
We certainly will. Go to the Facebook page, City of Marathon. You will find out more. Also, we do see that the bike path continues to be closed from south of the Robert H. Dopp Bridge to Avenue D. That is continuing as we continue to work on the deep well construction project. So we'll keep people updated on that. That is causing some slowdowns, but that project continues to move forward.
Yeah, and thank you for everybody for your patience with the traffic. We suffer with you in that traffic where we're down to the one lane, but unfortunately that is a necessity, and it wasn't the city's decision of when that project began. We were having to wait just like everybody else on permitting. And DOT, when they released that permitting, that's when we started the work. We're on a federally court mandated timeline to get that deep well completed. And it wasn't obviously ideal time for anybody, including the city. And like I said, we are suffering right along with everybody else as we sit in traffic. But everybody's being thankfully patient. Everybody's being polite and letting folks merge over. Let's just keep that up and we'll all get through this.
Yes, we will. And celebrating Earth Day at City Hall, that happens upcoming April 22nd. Eco-friendly vendors, food trucks, as well as an exhibit of student single-use waste art. Free admission for that as well to celebrate Earth Day. So very well. Well, anything else, Robin, we should be mentioning at this time?
I don't think so. I think that was it. You let me talk a whole lot. I'm sorry.
That's all right. I welcome that. Thanks for bringing us up to date and letting us know.
And sorry with the
happening.
problem with Zoom. I don't know what was going on. It's probably me. I'm technologically challenged some days.
That's okay. We will get through that. We appreciate you being here with us this morning. As always, look forward to seeing you and your lovely husband here very soon.
Well, thank you very much. I hope you and your listeners have a wonderful day and rest of the week.
Thank you for all you do for our community, Robin. Take care now.
Thanks. Bye.
Robin Still, council member, City of Marathon, Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5. The talk of the Keys. This is Good Morning Keys.
This is the Community Connection Spotlight, highlighting service organizations and initiatives in our community. Brought to you by Blue Marlin Jewelry in Islamorada and Key West. Join Habitat for Humanity for a night where generosity meets celebration and every dollar makes a real difference. It's the Habitat for Humanity Tropical Gala, Thursday evening, April 2nd. Your support doesn't just build homes, it fuels opportunity and helps local families thrive. Habitat's Tropical Gala is your invitation to an evening of great food, flowing drinks, inspiring stories, and a little friendly competition with games and auctions. Attend, sponsor, and celebrate at the iconic Little White House as Habitat for Humanity comes together to give back, have fun, and invest in the future of our community. This Community Connection Spotlight is brought to you by Blue Marlin Jewelry, saluting those organizations and individuals who serve our communities. Blue Marlin Jewelry, 81549 Old Highway, Islamorada, and now at 718 Caroline Street, Key West. Online at bluemarlinjewelry.com.
Hey Key West, Danny Hughes here from Two Friends. Really from Two Friends. So Maura and I were sitting at breakfast in the bar, listening to live music at 8:30 a.m. on a Tuesday. She's about to enjoy some huevos rancheros and me shrimp and grits with fried oysters. Heart healthy. And Maura says, Dorothy, we're not in Kansas anymore. It was perfect because we didn't move here because Key West is like a lot of other places. We moved here because it isn't like any other place on earth. So meet your friends or make your friends at Two Friends, 512 Front Street in Old Town Key West, or twofriends.com.
Keys Auto Center, the Keys hometown dealership.
Hey folks, Stephen Bender at Key West Cadillac. Experience the precision and presence of the new Cadillac lineup, from the iconic Escalade to the refined XT5 and performance-driven CT5. And with our local deal match guarantee, you can move forward with confidence. So come see the people you know, like, and trust at Key West Cadillac on the Boulevard, or visit keywestcadillac.com. We've got the keys.
Everything you need is here at Keys Auto Center.
If it's happening in the Keys, you will hear about it here. This is Good Morning Keys on Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5.
Good morning, Keys. Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5. The talk of the Keys, 75 degrees. A little bit more wind happening here today. We're going to have an east wind around 15 miles per hour. High of 83 with a 20% chance of a shower. Tonight, slight chance of showers, 74 for your low. Tomorrow, 10% chance of a shower and 83. And Thursday, thunderstorms a possibility, 82. However, that drought warning has been lifted. So apparently our water supply, especially up in the mainland, has been improved by about 3 to 6 inches of rain in this month of March in South Miami-Dade. That has affected us positively. So that drought warning has ended. People apparently did heed the calls for conservation as well, which contributed to all of that. So that is good news. We say good morning to Nikki, the nurse practitioner from the Key West Surgical Group Incorporated. Good morning, Nikki.
Morning, Michael. How are you?
I am doing well, thank you. I know you were conserving water too, so thanks.
You're welcome.
I'm assuming that anyway, but yeah, you're such a good citizen. Key West Surgical Group Incorporated, a med spa, bringing you medical matters, also bringing you exceptional care close to home, 3134 Northside Drive in Key West. Dr. Rhoda Smith providing that exceptional care for many years. Let's talk about GLP-1. It seems to be a hot topic. People, a lot of people are on this anymore. But how does that relate to surgery, Nikki?
So this is the question. Should you stop your GLP-1 medications before surgery? They have become very popular. Many people are on them, both for treating diabetes and for weight loss. So those are the medications like Ozempic and Wegovy and Mounjaro. So recently, in the last year or two, it has been the American Society of Anesthesiologists, it's a mouthful, have stepped in because they are realizing that these GLP-1s are affecting the way they're affecting anesthesia and how anesthesia affects you. So it's important to talk about these medications, because if a lot of people, when they're on it for weight loss, they forget to disclose that on their medication list.
Yeah, they might not think of them as traditional medications.
Medications, that is correct. So what are GLP medications? What do they do? Well,
Mhm.
for diabetes, they get to control your blood sugar, but how they work is by slowing stomach emptying, reducing appetite, and again, helping to control the blood sugar. So, under the guidance of the ASA, we're going to call them because it's too long to say
Yes.
all the time.
Thank you. Yep.
Food may be still left in the stomach, even if you fast. Normally, you fast before you have surgery, nothing to eat or drink after midnight, and they say at least 8 hours. However, because of the delayed gastric emptying in your stomach, you could still have food in your stomach when you show up for surgery the next day if you're on a GLP-1 medication. This increases your risk of aspiration during the procedure, where food will get into your lungs or stomach contents will get into your lungs, and then that could be very dangerous. It can cause pneumonia, and you can have trouble breathing after the procedure.
Okay, this is Medical Matters with Nikki, the nurse practitioner from the Key West Surgical Group Incorporated, blending the advances of modern medicine with classic care, and it is very appropriate. We have a conversation about GLP-1 medications and what you should do in relation to surgery. So the ASA recommendations for daily GLP-1 medications prior to surgery are what?
Stop it the day of surgery, and actually I see where they might have you hold it the day before. It really depends on where you're having your surgery done and what the policy they've adapted for the anesthesia department with regards to these medications. For weekly GLP-1 medications, those are the injections that you inject once a week. Most likely they're going to tell you to hold it 1 week before. Currently, some institutions are actually recommending holding it for 2 weeks. So make sure that you talk to your doctor if you're on these medications, if you're due to have some type of surgical procedure, and figure out what the policy is. Also talk to your primary care provider, because if you're on it for diabetes, you just might want to run it by them just based on what, your recent numbers were for, keeping your diabetes under control. Again, like I said, and we've had this in the office, so this has become, it's now on like our questionnaire. We'll say list your medications, but now we specifically ask, are you taking any GLP-1 medications? Because you can get them online through online pharmacies for weight loss. So again, people don't think of it as a regular routine medication.
Okay, so you mentioned aspiration. That can be a hazard. What other things could be a possible pitfall or danger to the patient if surgery were to occur and they're still on the GLP-1s?
So if you get to show up for your surgery and you did not stop your GLP-1, your surgery might be canceled. So you prepped for nothing. So especially if you're going for a colonoscopy, you know how that goes.
Yes,
You
it
do
does.
that. You
A lot
do
of
that
work.
whole prep.
Yeah.
You drank clear liquids the day before, but you forgot to stop your GLP-1 medication. Guess what? They're going to cancel your surgery, and you're going to have to do it all over again.
All over again.
All over again.
Yeah.
Just anesthesia risk increases. Like I said, higher chance of aspiration, and then that leads to post-op complications. So it also metabolize. There is a thing where they're concerned about the way you metabolize anesthesia too, because it's slowing everything down. So they're going to treat, the anesthesia will treat you as having a full stomach, as opposed, even though you might have fasted because you didn't stop this medication.
Okay, Nikki, the nurse practitioner, Key West Surgical Group Incorporated, bringing you Medical Matters. You can call them 305-294-1041 or visit online, keywestsurgicalgroup.com. And of course, they are close to home, 3134 Northside Drive in Key West. So GLP-1s are also used for diabetes patients. How about those patients in terms of surgery?
So again, that's what I had mentioned. If you are on a GLP-1 for diabetes,
Right.
make sure you talk to your provider and let them know that you need to stop it. If you most diabetics, not all, because these GLP-1s have been labeled the miracle drug of helping to control blood sugar. They get that hemoglobin A1C to where it needs to be. But a lot of times they're on multiple medications. So they're on oral medications as well as the weekly injection. So make sure your diet, be aware that if you stop that, your glucose is gonna could increase. It most likely will. Watch your diet, discuss it with your primary care provider, let them know what's going on, and see if there's something else you need to do before you go for surgery.
Okay. Well, so a lot of the patients don't mention it because they think it's just a weight loss shot, but it is medication as well. So you
Right.
mentioned Key West Surgical Group Incorporated does ask specifically if the patient is on GLP-1, and then that needs to be coordinated with the anesthesia in particular for any upcoming surgery. So what is the takeaway here then? What should people remember?
Be honest with your provider. Tell
Mm.
them what medications you are, answer honestly. Don't lie and say you didn't take it and you did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Yep. Yep.
that
Yep.
all
Yep.
these things have happened. I'm not accusing anybody. It's conversations that we've had in the office.
Mm.
You know, they kind of, just be honest with the doctor and be aware that, if you do take it, you're going to have to stop it. And depending on where you're having your surgery, it may be stopping it for 1 week or 2.
Okay. Nikki, the nurse practitioner, Key West Surgical Group Incorporated, with exceptional care close to home. Very informative, talking about GLP-1 medications, which they are, in relation to surgery. Well, also aesthetics. Let's talk about that. Some people, we're talking about GLP-1s. People want to look better and feel better. Aesthetics also help them do that and can take care of a lot of different issues they may be facing with 3 different very advanced laser technologies, RF microneedling. I saw it firsthand being performed on the doctor by you. There's a lot of
That is
success stories
correct.
there.
Yes. So, and RF microneedling is also good if you're on a GLP-1 and you have skin laxity. We can help make your skin more
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah,
tautness.
yeah, people lose the weight, but they still have the skin.
They do a lot of times because it's rapid weight loss. They get that skin laxity. So they lose their muscle mass faster.
Yeah.
So they have that loose skin. So RF microneedling helps tighten the skin.
No kidding. All right. Well,
Yes.
there's a lot of different solutions that are available with the aesthetic care from Key West Surgical Group. Expert medical care with the most advanced technological treatments that can be combined for a customized plan forward for you. So, yeah, we all have a birthday. I've got a birthday coming up in a couple of months. It starts everyone thinking, how can I maybe kind of fight the age clock? Well, the aesthetic care can help you do that.
Yes, it can. And we do have 3 laser devices and an RF microneedling machine. And if you want, we did our open house. We did all of them at once. So that was pretty neat.
That was pretty neat. Wow, from one to the next to the next. That was pretty
Yeah,
fascinating. But yes, so people can call and get a free consultation, correct?
that is correct.
All right. Springtime, summertime, perfect time to do it. Call the Key West Surgical Group, 305 294 1041. Visit them online, keywestsurgicalgroup.com. Dr. Rhoda Smith, Nikki, the nurse practitioner, the entire staff there will take care of your surgical and medical needs and your aesthetic care as well. So do reach out. You will be very happy. You'll get your glow on, among other things. So
That is correct.
that's right, just like you, as we can see.
I got my glow on.
You do. Well, happy Tuesday to you. Anything else we should mention here, Nikki, before we let you go?
Nope, I think that's it.
All right. Thanks for being here.
All right. Thank you for having me.
All right.
As always.
Yes. We'll see you soon, Nikki. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye now. Nikki, the nurse practitioner with us, Key West Surgical Group Incorporated and Med Spa. Exceptional care, close to home, 3134 Northside Drive, Key West, 305 294 1041. As we continue, let's see, I was looking for an update here, but so far traffic looking okay as far as we can tell. We will continue to get updates on that, but nothing is presenting itself currently that we're aware of. 75 degrees, though, could have a chance of a rain shower coming our way in the lower Keys for later today. This is Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5, the Talk of the Keys. We'll be back in a moment.
Step back in time. Step back into Old Town. Step into Old Town Bakery with fresh baked treats like pastries, cookies, brownies, and fresh breads made every morning. Enjoy hot and cold, delicious ground coffee, always brewing, and handcrafted breakfast and lunch sandwiches made to order on oven fresh breads. And now, Old Town Bakery features spinach mushroom feta quiche and ham and cheese quiche, delectable for breakfast or lunch by the slice. Get a whole quiche pie by ordering in store with 24 hours advance notice. Enjoy new cream-filled croissants with chocolate or vanilla filling and award-winning fresh baked pies, including their key lime pie, voted the best in the Keys. Pick up their unique Old Town Bakery t-shirts for a friend or yourself and give the gift of deliciousness with a gift card available for purchase in store. And their catering menu is available to make that next event memorable. Old Town Bakery on the corner of Eaton and Grinnell. Stop in or order online. Old Town Bakery, KeyWest.com.
Key West authentic Irish pub, dining, and rooftop lounge is Celtic Conch Public House, 528 Front Street. The Celtic Conch always features delicious Irish cuisine and tasty pub grub with more than 40 Irish whiskeys, specialty cocktails, and local drafts. Ask about their daily food specials, plus the best in live entertainment. Monday, Milo plays from 5 to 8. Then it's Dean Dunleavy from 8 to 11. Tuesday, test your knowledge with trivia from 7 to 9, and Corey Hill plays live from 6:30 to 9:30. Wednesday features Just George from 8 to 11. Thursday, Milo is back from 4 to 7. Friday, Dean Dunleavy returns from 5 to 8, and then Milo entertains from 8 to 11. Saturday, come back for Dave Minneberg from 5 to 8, and Just George from 8 to 11. Then Sunday, Tony Roberts plays from 3 to 6. Celtic Conch Public House, 528 Front Street, Key West. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram. Salancha.
Join the Con Crawl and Pub Stroll on April 18th and enjoy libations at 8 iconic bars, including 801 Bourbon Bar, Docks and Duval, Hanks and Irish Kevin's, and take home a commemorative crawl tee. The fun continues at Salty Frogs after the crawl party, featuring live music, food, drink specials, and giveaways with proceeds benefiting the Conch Republic Military Forces. Visit conchrepublic.com for a full schedule of events and tickets. The 44th Annual Conch Republic Independence Celebration, April 17th through the 26th. Brought to you by the Monroe County Tourist Development Council, DAC1, Conch Republic Military Forces, and Florida Keys Businesses.
The voice of Monroe County, yours. This is Good Morning Keys on Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5.
And Good Morning Keys, it is Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5. The Talk of the Keys, our newsroom did inform us there is an accident. Little Torch, Julia Avenue does not appear to be affecting the traffic on US 1. But about 39 minutes ago, that came in as an active call. Otherwise, we don't see other calls showing up currently. And admittedly, some of the traffic reporting sites are not actively working right now. But we did hear from the newsroom. Little Torch Key, Julia Avenue, accident about 39 minutes ago. No injuries are being reported. So that is good news. We're going to say good morning now to our friend Stephen Klitzner from the law office of Stephen Klitzner, PA tax attorney and FloridaTaxSolvers.com. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Michael.
Yes, so March 31st is here. April 15th, or is it the 16th this year? Which day is it?
It's the 15th, and it's coming up very, very close.
Yeah, it is. Look, I'm already trying to give people an extension. But speaking of that, they can get a legitimate extension by filing, but they have to do that pretty much immediately.
Yeah, if you can't get it filed on time, there are ways to get an extension. Now, you don't get an extension to pay, but you can get an extension to file. And the reason that's so important is that for every month you don't file, and if you owe money, you're hitting a 4.5% penalty. That's going to max out when it hits 22.5%. So, the idea is to get it filed. And a lot of this can be answered on the IRS website. They really do make the IRS site pretty easy to understand. It's irs.gov. Don't go to .com. That's probably a scam, but .gov. Mm-hmm. And it's a Form 4868, and you can mail it in, you can file it, you can e-file it, but that buys you 6 months to file. And if you can't get it done by April 15th, do that.
Are we seeing scams, by the way, still occurring, Stephen? You mentioned the .com is not legitimate. We've often talked about the fact that the IRS will reach out to the taxpayer. At least initially, it will start with letters. And they always say, if you're getting a text, if you get a phone call telling you to send gift cards and all that kind of stuff, that is definitely not the IRS. And will they call a taxpayer initially, or is it always by letter?
No, it's going to be by letter, not email, by letter. And nowadays, they don't even come knock on your door first. If they do, they'll show you ID. But if you get a phone call, it's because you've ignored the letters. You just need to verify who's calling you. Probably, if you get a phone call from somebody you're not sure they're legit, get their phone number. It should be a local number. You can Google the number and make sure it's legit, or go to the IRS website.
And then call you at 305-682-1118. That's the other phone call that should be made.
Right. Yeah. And I have no problem with giving somebody free advice. A lot of people think, well, it's an attorney, he's going to charge as soon as I call him on the phone, he's going to have a way to get into my credit card and start charging me without me even knowing. It doesn't work that way. If it's something I can give you a little advice on, then I'll be happy to do it, or at least lead you in the right direction.
Yeah, absolutely. You can call and get right to Stephen Klitzner. You can also go online, FloridaTaxSolvers.com, have a conversation with Josh, the support agent there as well. But again, 305-682-1118 for the law office of Stephen Klitzner, your local tax attorney, and FloridaTaxSolvers.com. You had mentioned free. Well, there are ways to actually get your tax prepared for free, tax return prepared and filed even for free in some cases.
Right. Yeah, you can get it filed. Go to irs.gov. They have IRS free file. That's for people whose adjusted gross income is under $84,000. But there is some software where you could fill it in even if it's more than that. And there's other places. I mean, if you're over 60, if you're in the military, they have certain programs that'll do that. Now, if you're trying to do it, and it's not just a simple return, because even TurboTax will let you do a simple W-2 return for free. But if you're having trouble, even if you buy the software, invest a few dollars, go to a legitimate tax preparer, enrolled agent, CPA, somebody that doesn't have the line out the door. That's a bad sign. But somebody that knows what they're doing, even like H&R Block and those companies, and spend a couple extra dollars just to prevent a headache down the road.
Mm-hmm. Well, and speaking of preventing headaches or solving headaches and spending, a little bit of extra money, but really a reasonable amount of money, hiring you, if you found yourself in a tax situation, really is beneficial. It creates peace of mind. It gets you on a path to reconciliation with the IRS. It presents the taxpayer with the best option for them moving forward. And, you, as you mentioned, you're not going to grab their credit card and bill them indefinitely, whatever. It comes to a reasonable rate for a solution.
Right. It's a flat fee. Once I determine what we're going to do, it's a flat fee. It's funny. I don't know if we've ever talked about this. Sometimes, and people don't come to my office so much anymore since COVID. I've got a lot of friends and colleagues who are lawyers, and they don't even have offices anymore. I still have my office, but people would come to my office and I'd say, okay, here's the fee. And they go, okay, let me go downstairs and get my checkbook or my credit card. Because I think they were afraid that as a lawyer, I would use some Jedi mind tricks or something and force them to sign. And so they needed to at least have the buffer of going downstairs. And the good thing is nobody ever left. I was always looking in the parking lot. Are they just going to leave now? They always came back up, but they're always afraid to actually bring the form of payment into. Think about it. You go to the supermarket and you're at the checkout counter. And you go, okay, well, hold on. Let me just go to the car. I wasn't sure I was actually going to do this. Let me go get my money and I'll pay for it then.
That is interesting. But yes, you have 100% success rate of people not bailing out and coming back and finishing the transaction.
Well,
That also-
and one guy years ago, I don't remember the name of the beer company, but they had these vintage cans or bottles of beer, and he was some sort of distributor. He brought me a very nice assortment of beer, like some collectible. Now, some people will say to me, they'll want to pay, and I've had people say, I'll give you my art.
Oh.
And I said, well, the last time I looked, Florida Power and Light did not accept art as payment, but I'll check on them again. And the other thing, we're getting a little off subject, but a lot of people, they like to barter. But the problem with bartering, when you think about it, is if someone says, listen, I'll redo your bathroom, what are you going to do if you don't like how they're doing the work? You can't fire them. You're kind of stuck with how they do it if you do bartering. So I don't do bartering either.
Yeah, and I will stay off topic for just a second, but one of our other markets, when we had radio stations there, we had an attorney who specialized a lot in criminal defense, especially college students who found themselves with infractions late at night, et cetera. And his motto was reasonable doubt for a reasonable cost. So
that's true. Well, it's all, and when we talk about fees, I have to have value. If someone calls me, if I have no value, I really don't want the case. I don't want somebody at the end of the case going, why did I even need you? So I tell people right up front, this is why you need me. Sometimes I say to people, in your particular case, fortunately, most people will need me. In your particular case, you don't need me. If you want me to do it, I'll be happy to do it. But I just want to be clear, you could theoretically do this yourself. And some people do pay me because they don't want to wait on hold and they don't want to go through paperwork. They just want me to do it. But most of what I do is more complex than people think. I am not just filling out forms and sending them in and seeing what happens. I'm actually doing the work, coming up with a plan, and doing what's best for my clients who owe the IRS or are getting audited.
Again, it is Stephen Klitzner we're speaking with, Law Office of Stephen Klitzner, Tax Attorney, FloridaTaxSolvers.com, 305-682-1118. You're also paying for peace of mind, but you're paying for your relationships with the IRS and the agents, the working knowledge of how they work, what they are looking for, and just, taking that monkey off the back, so to speak, of those taxpayers. It could be unfiled returns for many years. It could be unpaid fees for many years. But, finding a resolution and finding a path forward really is worth that investment.
Yeah, and too many people call me after they've talked to the IRS, whether they've called the 800 number or spoke to the revenue officer or revenue agent handling their collection or audit case. And they say, not that they would ever lie, but they say things that will haunt the case for a long time to come. It's better not to check it out, see what happens, and then get to me. Just let me take care of it from the beginning. It'll be a lot less stressful. And because there is a lot of stress even talking to the IRS. Most of them, they're just trying to get to the right answer. But some of them can be, whether they mean to or not, be very overwhelming and very scary.
Well, you're kind of out of your league when you're dealing with an experienced IRS tax agent. The taxpayer is not equipped really to do that. So when you see them say on TV, I want to speak with my attorney, that's really the approach you should take if you find yourself in that situation.
Yeah, anything, as they say, anything you say can and will be used against you. And I've had audit cases where I'm making an argument, for instance, that a business is not a hobby, because if it's a hobby, you can't take the same losses. And I've had the revenue agent say, I spoke to your client before he represented you. He told me this, and this. And it's like, okay, case over, He said the wrong things or filled it out wrong, because a lot of times what you think is important and going to help you that you emphasize has the exact opposite effect.
Well,
and
yeah, I was just going to say, you have the knowledge of having done this for decades. to avoid those pitfalls. Estimated payments, too. People can fall into difficulty not understanding how that works. So we talked about getting an extension on your filing and getting your return in, et cetera. But you don't get an extension on the payments that are to be made.
Right. And what you're supposed to do if you're a realtor, if you're self-employed, if you're a contractor, and you have no income where you're having withholding, you're supposed to make estimated quarterly payments during the year. April 15th is not the day you're supposed to pay all your taxes. You're supposed to pay during the year, which is why the IRS would love everyone to be an employee. And you have to make payments starting April 15th, then June 15th, September 15th, January 15th. And there's a formula. And for the most part, you have to pay in, it varies between 90 and 110%. But you figure out what that is based on your income the year before. And if you're making about the same amount of money or more, you have to make those payments in quarterly so that next year you may owe a little, you may not owe a little, but you're not going to get hit with an extra penalty for not paying in during the year.
Okay. Stephen Klitzner, Law Office of Stephen Klitzner Tax Attorney, FloridaTaxSolvers.com online. Call for your free consultation here locally, 305-682-1118. So the big, beautiful bill, all those situations, has the tax code changed that much for this filing year?
Yeah, there are some changes. There are some ways for taxpayers to save some money. And a good accountant knows what it is. There's just been some increases and some deductions. So I think for the most part, the average person, if you made about the same as you did the year before, you're not paying as much in the way of taxes. It's not a fortune, but listen, every time you can save a few hundred or a couple $1,000s with the IRS, it's a win.
Okay. And we mentioned scams there earlier in the conversation. Again, we caution people against those 800 numbers that promise the magic fix to all of your tax problems. It's not that easy. And you may find yourself dealing with somebody unscrupulous, or at least somebody who knows where. Local relationships, local knowledge, local attention, and expertise all matter. And that is exactly what the Law Office of Stephen Klitzner offers you, as well as peace of mind. FloridaTaxSolvers.com, 305-682-1118.
That's it.
Yeah, very good. Well, I think we've covered it for now. I want to say hello to Josh, of course, as always. Give my respect to Josh and he being your assistant. But again,
my son.
And your son. Yes, indeed he is. So thanks to him. But other than that, I think it was very important to highlight April 15th coming up, a very important deadline. But also, if you've let it go, if you've let April 15th go for 1 year or 2 years or whatever, doesn't mean that you're necessarily a bad person or anything of the sort. Just some people get in over their head. They get overwhelmed quickly. Stephen Klitzner is there to help you navigate the waters ahead. So I would say that's true.
Thank you.
Yes,
I agree.
Sir. Thank you. All right. Well, with that, you have a wonderful day, sir. Thank you so much for being here and visiting with us. One more time, 305-682-1118 and FloridaTaxSolvers.com online. A pleasure as always, Stephen. You have a wonderful day.
Thanks, Michael. Take care. Be well.
Thank you. You too. It's Stephen Klitzner, Law Office. Yes, sir. Stephen Klitzner, Tax Attorney. 305-682-1118, FloridaTaxSolvers.com. Tax season is here. It's Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5. The Talk of the Keys. Another reminder, there had been an accident reported. Little Torch Key, Julia Avenue. That came in a little while ago, and it is an accident with no injuries. So we're definitely happy to report that. Other than that, US 1 is looking clear so far today. We'll check your complete forecast in just a bit, but a bit of a breeze for today, 15-mile-per-hour winds out of the east with a 20% chance of a shower coming your way. Had some rain last night, and as mentioned, that drought warning has been lifted. So the rain that we got in the month of March has rectified things, thanks to all who heeded the call to conserve and help make sure that our water supplies have been replenished. So we're grateful for that. This is Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5. The Talk of the Keys. We'll be getting set for Glenn Beck coming your way here shortly. Things always changing internationally. There's a lot of mixed signals coming out of the administration as far as the Iran conflict, and updates from that are continually changing. So keep it locked here on Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5. The Talk of the Keys. Glenn Beck coming up at just after 9. Clay and Buck at noon. Sean Hannity at 3 o'clock. Florida's Voice with Drew Steele at 5 o'clock as the legislature heads back into session in Tallahassee to try to work out a budget. And 6 o'clock, Mark Levin, the great one. 9 o'clock, Jesse Kelly, Coast to Coast AM overnight. Local, state, national news every half hour. Weather updated around the clock.
The Greenhouse. Have you been there yet? We even spell it with 3 E's to help you smile when you say it. That's our goal. We carry the largest selection of hemp-derived THC and CBD products in Monroe County. If you've been taking medication for anxiety, depression, inflammation, lack of sleep, or muscle and joint pain, and it's just not working, or you don't like the side effects, we can help. If you're looking to chill, relax, escape, focus, or even break out into euphoric fits of laughter, we can help there too. No medical card is needed. You just have to be 21 or over. Our 3 locations are open 7 days a week from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. In Key West, we're at 431 Front Street, just in front of Mallory Square. In Marathon, you can find us at mile marker 52 at 10875 Overseas Highway. In Key Largo, we're at 99304 Overseas Highway in the middle of the road. Swing on by, share your goals with us, and we'll recommend a product to help you reach them. And we back our recommendations with a 100% money-back guarantee. The Greenhouse. Stop on by and find out what the buzz is all about today.
Visit one of the 12 locations of the Greenhouse, including 9 in the Keys and featuring their newest store at 3128 North Roosevelt, Key West. You know Hawks Cay Marina is renowned for their quick access to world-class fishing grounds, as well as waterfront dining, bars, spa experiences, and family-friendly adventures. But on the first of the month, Hawks Cay Marina transforms from a fishing paradise to the best waterfront party in the Middle Keys. Join Hawks Cay Resort Friday, April 3rd from 5 to 9 p.m. for the kickoff of their first Friday on the Promenade. Local vendors will be on hand with wonderful items for purchase. Enjoy delicious food and ice-cold beverages while taking in live music from Riptide Riot, performing live from 5 to 9 p.m. with a high-energy rock show straight from the Key West music scene. Enter to win a half-day fishing charter and Turtle Box Ranger. All raffle proceeds go to Forgotten Felines of the Florida Keys, who provide compassionate care to homeless and abandoned cats. Live music, tasty food, cold beverages, and local vendors. What more could you ask for? Join Hawks Cay Marina the first Friday of the month from 5 to 9 p.m. beginning April 3rd for First Friday on the Promenade. And for more information about Hawks Cay Resort, visit hawkscay.com.